Good evening and welcome to another episode of Behind the TV. I'm Colleen Shooster. Tonight we're joined by Rick Morello, famed producer and co-creator of the popular 70s sitcom Look Who's Talking in the Family too. So Rick, I have to ask, everyone's wondering, how did it all start for you?
Rick Namias and I met in NAMM. Not Vietnam the war, but NAMM the convention, the industry gathering. At the time, we were both actors, we used to be on Broadway, and, we had some acting experience, but we eventually, 7 years later, we reconnect. Rick came up to me, he said, I have an idea for a television show. And I said, television show? What's a television? He said, television. I said, television. I said, what, who's? I said, yeah, I have this idea for a television show. I said, what's a television show? Because at the time, I really had no idea what television even was.
How did you not know what TV was? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Champaign Hills, Illinois. Back in that day, you had what was called a mother, and she would come out and she would call and she would say, dinner's ready. And along with dinner, she would also say, it's TV time as well. And we'd all come in, my whole family and I would gather around and we'd watch television. And of course, everyone else got it, and I was the one guy that was left out. And I was like, what's behind this frame? And I thought it was advanced puppetry. I was just so, I was so dumb, but no one told me.
After you found out what TV was, what happened from there?
We watched Aladdin, we watched Diddy Kong Racing, NFL Blitz.
Aren't those all just video games from the 90s?
It didn't even matter at the time. So we knew what it was when we went into that ABC office. And they said, great, so what do you need from us? I said, film. You need film? They said, we need film. I said, yeah, I suppose we'll need some film. They said, well, you need cameras? I said, I suppose we'll need some cameras too. And they said, we have to cast the whole thing. I said, what cast? I said, what's the cast? He said, cast, these are the actors. I said, oh, the actors, oh man. He said, who are the actors? He said, well, Rick and I? He said, Rick and you? You guys are actors? He said, yeah, we used to be on Broadway. We used to open for Rent. Open for Rent. They said, okay, that's great. You guys are the actors. So we were the dads. Rick and I played two gay dads, and it was before the new normal. This was the original normal.
You've got the cameras. You've got the film. Take us through the casting process.
Rick and I are sitting in the Sunset Diner, and that was a grimy scene. You had Jim Morrison walking around, you had hookers giving 2-cent BJs. He says to me, okay, we need to get a cast together. I said, okay, cast, what's a cast? And he says, actors. I said, okay, actors, well, who? He said, DJ Tanner. I said, DJ Tanner from Full House? He said, yeah. I said, it's the 70s, it hasn't happened yet. He says, no, it's okay, artificially inseminate her, mother, and, with the dad's sperm, of course, and, wait 4 years' time, wait for her to come out of the womb and progress, and I said, no, that's crazy, let's just go with Jamie Foxx. He said, okay, yeah. So we get Jamie Foxx, we dress him up in a tutu. We didn't know what cameras were.
So you've gotten a ton of press. You guys had an amazing first season.
I mean, we had no idea what ratings even were. I mean, at the time, ratings were somewhat, on a scale. 1 to 10, 1 to 10. 1 to 10, I thought there was a million choices.
What happened? Why'd he walk?
When it came time to do the second season, Rick said, I think we should stop. I said, to stop? Why would we stop? He said, I think by this point we're repeating ourselves. I said, repeating ourselves? We've only done one season. He said, yeah. I think it's time to call it quits.
When was the last time you saw Rick?
I haven't spoken to Rick in over 20 years.
Well, it's funny you say that because here at VH1, we were actually able to track down Rick Namias. We found him on a farm in Ohio and flew him out here. Rick?
Hello, Rick. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that you would be here.
So I got
what's up with you, buddy?
Come here, I've been a boom guy this whole time. You didn't even notice me.
And that is why I love my job. I'm Colleen Shooster, and this has been another edition of Behind the TV with Rick Morello and Rick Namias. Stay tuned next week when I explore the science of Renaissance dough making in another edition of TV before the 1800s.
Get out of here! That's amazing! Oh my gosh, I had no idea you worked with her.
Do you two need a room?
Is she still at Fuse? Oh, she had the biggest buns.